Folks, about that. So this is the Town of Boston Planning Board meeting. I believe there's only one item on the agenda tonight. Yes. Does the applicant have anything to add at this point?
The applicant has submitted and handed out, I think, to everybody on the dais, in November 2nd, 2016, applicant's comments to the draft resolutions.
Do you wish to clarify more on the submissions?
Well, one thing that I would like to, other people will clarify other issues, but one thing that I wanted to bring up, my way of questioning, and maybe Catherine and David will have, some more insight on this. It's on the issue of recreation fees, which were said something like
$397,500.
Which isn't quite right.
Okay.
That
But-
isn't right.
Tony did the correct calculation.
What I wanted to bring up.
I didn't, just let me tell you.
Sure.
Well, I didn't take into consideration that there's a reduction in fee, recreation for
Affordable housing units.
So I didn't take that into consideration, so it's a bit lower than what I had put into the resolution. And I'm assuming that these numbers are correct. At the bottom of page 1 of Tony's letter dated today, instead of $397,500, the calculation is $367,500.
Okay, the clarification that I was looking for is under the zoning laws for the approval of site plans. There is no reference with respect to the recreation fees. They come up under what I see, and if there's another section, please refer me to it. Under 176 with respect to subdivisions, and then underneath that is a multifamily designation. Under these regulations, MF1 refers you back to the MF for regulations, and the MF regulations ensure that there's actually on-site recreational facilities in addition to open space. And I think those on-site recreational facilities are going to cost you somewhere in the neighborhood of $600,000.
It's full, yeah.
About $600,000. So, in any of
The gym and the pool and all that.
the pool and everything,
Okay.
and the kids' playground for the 7 to 9 children that may live there. So number one, the question was, is there actually a provision under site plan approval as opposed to subdivisions for the recreation fees, given that recreation is built into the site plan requirements on site recreation, where a recreation fee is generally to offset the cost of the kids using town-wide recreation. And secondly, if there is, the planning board is certainly, by the old fee schedule with respect to multifamily, vested with the authority to alleviate and compromise that recreational fee. This would really be asking him to spend in the neighborhood of close to $1 million for recreational facilities for 7 to 9 children. And that's just to me, a tremendous amount of money, given that he's building recreational facilities on site for all of the occupants. That was the part that I wanted to address.
You
And
can actually go through the letter because it basically addresses
sure,
all of these comments that we
Yeah,
had
the one-
within
sure. Let me put on my
the
reading
site
class.
plan so that we can have those on.
Okay.
And we list all the facilities that were provided on site that are actually recreation in nature.
Yes.
And we propose a number that we would willing to pay for recreation, and the board has the authority to adjust the recreation fee if it is in the purview.
So notwithstanding my comments, the applicant had suggested a recreation fee of $53,000, given that he's spending $600,000 for recreation fees, which really was $1,000 per apartment. And that such fee be due in payable installments upon receipt of the CO for the building in each apartment, as it goes along.
So David is asking that the recreation fee, whatever that fee happens to be prorated fee, not paid as a lump sum fee, but prorated based upon the number of COs, the number of families that have moved into the, or about to move into the project.
And to give you a better idea of what Mr. LeBarc wanted to is, the recreation facilities the applicant is developing is a swimming pool, an exercise room, the toilets, shower, changing rooms, on-site walking trails, because there's the requirement for open space, passive recreation, 3 areas of open space with benches along the trails, specifically a children's playground with equipment that will accommodate the approximate 7 to 9 children that are projected to occupy the development, indoor and outdoor bicycle racks, an indoor community room with kitchenette and toilet room. All of these recreational-based facilities are estimated to cost, again, as I said, about $600,000.
Is there some sort of spreadsheet or something that,
I didn't do a spreadsheet individually, David, because all of our numbers are coming in as estimates and projections, but every time I do an estimate, they always come out higher. The pool could be higher, depending on the Board of Health approvals of that pool, which they have the authority over. The locker rooms and the exercise rooms could come in higher, but that's our ballpark number for that area.
And, based upon that, it's our feeling that the occupants will have little need to utilize town-wide playgrounds or parks. They'll have them right on site, they'll have their own pool right on site. And it appears that in January, I think the January 2016 meeting, the planning board acknowledged that it can adjust the recreation fee. Clearly, this will reduce the demand on facilities within the town and future town recreational facilities and the maintenance of these facilities. So based upon all of the above, that again, the fact that there's going to be good recreational walking areas and other, as they talked about, other facilities that provide financial relief to the town, it has been respectfully requested that that this board consider something in the neighborhood of what was proposed by the applicant, the $1,000 per apartment, $53,000. So he'll be spending $650,000 or so on recreation.
Okay, any further comments from the applicant on that point?
Well, the other comments in here are technical comments on wordings that are within, and I don't think you want me to read word by word where insert the word substantial before future or that type of comment. Was there a comment that had come up tonight that you wanted addressed or in the memo that came around?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
The only thing we have to do is, we have to determine who's going to establish the cost, whether our professional, I got a memo in from Mr. Coleman regarding the amount of the bond for the wetlands mitigation. And the question was whether Steve will do an estimate, a written estimate of that, and then submit it to Mr. Coleman for review, or Mr. Coleman will prepare the estimate and submit it to Steve for review. So that was the only question.
There's also, a place obviously where it's left open to insert the closure of the hearing, which is respectfully requested to be on November 16th at the next hearing, because that's a requirement in the resolution to be adopted. And the rest of the comments, C and D, are wordsmithing comments with respect to the resolutions, except that
The only area we have to adjust is if the planning board does agree to the payment of the recreation fees upon receipt of CO, then that would not be a condition of those 4 items.
Yeah, we would,
That would be a condition of the resolution, but not prior to the chair signing the site.
right.
there's also a question with respect to extensions, which we're in the middle of right now in the village, where it's requested that the words say give reasonable extensions from time to time and but shall not be obligated to. I don't see anywhere in the statute where it says that. It may be implied from there, but it doesn't actually say that within the site plan statute, not obligated to it. There's certain discretion that's vested within the board. And the other 3 comments were, well, there's 2 3s, so it's really 3, 4, and 5. One suggestion, the same suggestion on the wetland permit approval, that it be filled in with the public hearing to close on November 16th. Same thing for the tree permit approval. Substitution of 6 months with the words in number 2 years in page 5, paragraph 2.
I felt that it was more important to not go in and cut the trees all at once. Just go in, I would rather go in and cut the trees as necessary and clear out the areas where I am working at that time than go in all at once and just clear cut.
There may be some trees that
So
can be
that's
saved.
fine. That 2 years is the same period of time that was in the 2-year build-out period that was in the resolution, in the site plan resolution. So I took it from there with that understanding that we would be able to cut trees up to 2-year period. But there is a schedule and all the trees are marked in any event that are going to be cut, but it may not be appropriate to cut those trees all at once.
So your intent is to build building number 1 first, right?
We're going to build building number 2 first.
Building number 2, the one close to the road, okay.
Yeah, because then what'll happen is building number 2 will be done, and that'll be finished. Then we can utilize that for the tenants, if we move in, we move the tenants at that time while we're constructing number 1.
And the last 2 things really were
But
just,
you'd also have to have enough parking for
Yeah, because
building
we
2,
want, yeah,
the
because we
building on
will,
the right side, yeah.
yes, because you'll have underground parking, which is sufficient. We'll have the rear parking,
Right.
so that's more than sufficient. So we'll have plenty of parking without any issue.
Is it your intent, since you're building the first building, the closest road first, are you going to use the existing driveway as your construction access? Probably have to. You're not going to direct people by a finished building. You want
Well,
them
and
straight
you're
in.
saying after building number 2 is completed and occupants begin moving in,
Right.
then that access may be used for construction. I leave that up to the board
For building 1.
for building 1.
The existing access is where the emergency access?
Yes.
Yes.
yeah,
And that does not have good sight distance.
But it's for construction material. not-
But what you said that can
It's
we
even
use
worse.
flag?
Yeah.
It's even worse, you
I
have
think they have to stipulate, they have a flag man.
you can have a flag, I was gonna say, you can always have a flag man, which is
Flag
to be typical.
it, Dave?
if you have a flag man, that'd be okay, but that's, we've been talking a lot about the fact that that
I
corner,
agree.
especially with a construction vehicle trying to pull out, very unsafe.
Yeah, no, I agree that we would need a flag man.
So if we do that route, then
Or woman.
we stipulate it
Still have a flag.
in the
Lady.
planning board resolution that we would have a flag man on site during the construction of building number 1.
So in paying the recreational fees, it's really, when you were getting back to before, if you, 53 divided by 2, whatever it is.
Well, it's $1,000 a year.
Yes.
So as we
you-
get,
As you get the CMO for the first building. and all
You
that
pay.
stuff.
my
And then the
question
second
is
one,
gonna be, because sometime we get into an issue, you can get a building permit for the building, but you can't still get CO, or you can get a CO for the building, but not the apartment yet. So we may get one for the building, because the building structure and all the components of the building are done, but not all the apartments are 100% completed for occupancy. So we would have to get a building permit for the building plus each, a CO rather, CO for the building and a CO for each apartment.
Tony, another thing, just to add to that, construction traffic, it can be stipulated that all employees driving their personal pickup trucks and cars, they come in the regular way.
Yes,
Just larger trucks delivering materials primarily
yes,
would be the flag.
that would be fine.
Any other statements? This sounds like a topic that we probably would want to go into executive session for a moment, but.
We can step out if you
Yes,
like.
but before we get to that point, do the consultants wish to add anything at this time before the board?
With respect to the technical changes, if you'd like, Kathy and I can go over them, include in the next version in a red line way, the ones we think are appropriate, and so you'll be able to see them in context and really understand what is being asked for in terms of other changes other than the rec fee.
That sounds reasonable, right? Okay.
So we'll step out.
Does board members, before you step out, do the board members have any questions to ask at this time? Before we go into executive session?
I'd like to just comment regarding the second number 3, B. I think it's a good idea. So this is page 3 of the applicant's memo.
This one, Tom.
Tree removal. They're asking that it be changed to 2 years for tree removal allowance. And I think that's a good idea. There's no reason to force them to cut all the trees at once. So I think I'm very much in support of that.
Can I just piggyback on that for a minute? It seems like a really good idea, especially given the fact that Deerfield surrounds this. And we may want to go even further and require that Tony only take the trees down where he's working. So we're taking down the trees as phased to protect the surrounding residential development to the best we can. So I think that's a very good idea.
That'd be great.
Has John handled any of the projects like this where there's a single building permit and multiple CO inspections, piece by piece? So he'll be okay with going apartment by apartment? Okay.
And that would help you finance along the way.
Yes, in other words, we don't get our final payment from the banks usually until they have that CO in hand. So that's a very important document as always.
Yeah, I think that's helpful to you. That sounds good.
Any other questions?
Got a motion for executive session? Okay, I believe the board has come to a conclusion that, given the time frame that we were presented with these suggested revisions by the applicant, that we probably require more time to consider them. In addition, we have several requests in order to make the procedure go more smoothly. And one of the items, I believe it's already been mentioned, that we need a breakdown of in greater detail possibly in a spreadsheet format, to verify the costs of each of those items as listed in your page 2 list of items for recreation facilities, in order for the board to make an informed decision on the topic that was brought before it, and that was suddenly brought before it during this session. We'll probably, in fact, even need detail to the extent of like percentage breakdown of acreage for each one of those items in terms of the actual total. And also probably for another item, for the wetlands maintenance, we probably have greater detail on that as well. Was there any other items that we were discussing?
I think it may be beneficial for council to provide legal memoranda to me to review, outlining your position and to consider 274A in particular, to give some kind of legal analysis for the board to consider with respect to your position that the on-site recreational facilities that you're proposing can be considered by the board to reduce the recreational fee.
In other words, the board wants legal justification for any reduction of the fees. And that was a town law, right?
That's New York State Town Law 274-A.
6.
Yeah, A6.
You also want large scale drawings.
Yes, these drawings that were given to us again today without having any notice beforehand, they're not actually clear enough for us to be able to read.
The drawings that we're giving there today were previously presented, but only in a greater format so that we could discuss the colors and provide samples.
The revision date on all the drawings, not all the drawings, most of the drawings, a lot of the drawings is today.
Yes, we use that date as the colored rendering dates, but they're similar to what we have. Now,
So for example, on the wetland drawings,
I was talking about the construction drawings, I'm sorry, the elevations, David.
yeah.
What do we?
Steve, what changes are on?
Well, the wetland drawings, we had, and the landscape plan, we had talked about adding one tree where the 3 parking spaces became 2 parking spaces. There had been a question about whether we could add additional screening there, so that's been updated.
So if we're gonna, I'm sorry to interrupt, but if we're gonna reference these drawings with this revision date, we need large-scale drawings that we can all review. I'm telling you, on the elevation drawings, it's
There were
just,
no changes
just the
on
addition
this?
of color, is that all?
That's all, the color is, and every time I print them out, they become a different color, but we just gave you those so that as we went through the large-scale drawings here, we provided you with before.
Mhm.
We never provided you with 4 sides. We always provided you with only a colored rendering of the front elevation. But the elevations were always in black and white on large-scale drawings that we had previously presented to you.
But any drawing I see, it's real hard to read. The last drawing of the lighting plan,
Yeah, we
that
have,
says, I think I could barely see, it might say 11-2. And again,
we have
I
the
know, I see a
large-scale drawing
Any
of that.
any
So-
plan that has been changed, we need a larger scale one.
Or if you want us to use this revision date in the resolution, we need large-scale drawings.
Or we just have to make large-scale drawings of what we had.
Yeah.
But do we have to give you colored renderings of the large-scale drawings? That's my question also. In other words, if we're here for the architectural board of review, can we utilize the drawings that were presented? Or if we're only doing a site plan approval, can we just use the black and white drawings?
Well, if it's not being used for that particular issue, then we don't need it at that time.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. We're only trying to give you the colored renderings, okay? But back to the colored renderings are black and white renderings of the colors that were previously presented to you.
And you've got the actual names of the colors here.
Yes, we gave you the actual colors and we have samples of them.
What we don't have here, we have sailcloth, for example, but we don't have the manufacturer, the brand.
We can include that in the drawing. That's
We
not-
can include that, we had samples here tonight, but we did not know if you were accepting these colors. And once we get that, we can finalize the drawings and put whatever information additional you want.
Yeah,
But
I
we're
don't
here to
think-
provide you with samples of every color that we have and everything we're trying to use on the drawing list this evening. We did not give you those drawings there only as an easy way to go through them. Now, I understand that the lighting plan is very difficult to make out in that scale drawing, but we do have a larger scale of that drawing, right, Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah, we obviously need that. We don't need to review the lighting plan right now,
Okay, so,
but if you changed it, if there's a new revision date, we need a large scale version. We certainly don't need a large scale version of the color rendered for every member. It would be nice to have one for the file.
well, we
How
can
how
definitely,
many, I'm sorry, how many copies do we need of the large? Do you need a copy for each member in large size, or?
One for you, one for the building department.
I'd like to review one, Steve should review one. I don't know if we're getting Dan sets of, and Dan should get a full set.
And if we have it also in PDF format where you can zoom in on something, that's fine.
Right, so 5 copies?
5's more than enough, I think.
Okay.
so we're saying, do you want, because I'm confused.
Yeah,
Okay.
5 large size copies and.
But not color
PDF.
rendered.
Not color rendered. yeah.
Right, one color rendered for the file.
Right.
Each drawing should have the colors and the manufacturer on there, which will match the samples that you have.
Okay.
That should do it.
So now, does the board want to go through actually the colors and accept those colors? Or that happens later in the process? I thought that was part of the architectural review portion of we're here to give you, show you virtually the samples, show you what we're using, and once they're actually used, we're then going to insert them on the plan as the final plan.
Right.
We don't want to keep going through and creating more and more plans if the board seemingly does not accept.
So there are
what we're-
essentially 3 colors that you're proposing right now.
No, there's actually, there were 2 sets, if we started out with 2 color sets, a gray and a red. Now we're proposing 2 colors, which is the
Final approval with the
final.
close.
sailcloth.
Sailcloth and completely red.
Right, and that's clear.
That is white.
Right.
So I already said there are essentially 2 colors.
Yes.
This is just white.
And then we have the gray.
Right. No, it's
It's
the
a
same color.
That's what we're talking about,
And
yeah.
these are the actual samples.
Every time you use a digital printer, you get a different color.
Right, here's the break. Okay, here is the actual samples.
See, what I have here is building 1 and building 2, which look like they're 2 different colors.
No.
Now, they're the same. Unfortunately, when we print it out on 2 different printers, we get 2 different
Okay.
colors. And that's why we're really trying to, here's the color, the actual color.
Could I see the brick?
Okay, this is the brick sample.
That's something I was going to
Okay.
ask for.
This is the reddish color, the actual reddish color. This is the sailcloth color. But when we print this out on these renderings, they keep coming out a different color each time. You know what I mean? That looks nothing like it, nor does this. And unfortunately, it's, you know, every time, everybody that prints it for us, we get different colors. And that's why I don't like the color. I'd rather come here with the actual samples.
Can I ask, the drawing here of the brick veneer, is that supposed to be an accurate representation?
Of that, yes. And here's the deck color, here's the trim color.
Have you considered any others? I mean, I only see it as purely a taste issue. When I see this sort of mixed brick patterns, I don't know, they associate it with construction.
But we only use
Not
that, we
immediately
only using that for
positive.
a base.
Say it again?
We only using that as a base. I mean, it's not, I mean, if we're
Right, but
adding-
quite a bit of it is exposed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it's time to express opinions, then this is the only
You're using that
aesthetic that I've
deck
got an
where?
issue with.
That
Yeah,
deck
the deck's on the rear of the building.
That's
Have you thought about
Tracks.
like
Tracks.
using a larger, sort of more
dangerous.
architecturally
So
distinctive?
slippery.
That
a
has
larger
a slippery
size
system.
brick?
Larger size
No, we
brick?
were thinking of using the standard.
Okay. I've seen some really nice brick in Bedford Hills, you know, down by the train station. Really nice brick. Jumps out at you there as being very much the opposite feeling to the garden party brick or the project brick.
So that's what we're trying to accomplish by these drawings. But this, they're the same in both scenarios, but they're done on two different elevations, so that we try to give you an understanding of what all the elevations would be.
I personally think it's too long. That's what I agree with somebody.
I'm gonna tell you something that we have an issue with on that.
I'm a little nervous with the trucks, but, you know, I mean, it's used a lot, it's just, even though when this is wet, you're gonna go flying on it. I mean, but it's only on those little decks that the few people have little terraces.
Right.
And to do something out of cedar or something else is, you know,
Here is the only colors that Hardy Board recommends for the northeast corridor. Okay, so the question comes up is, the only light color you have is the
it's the
sailcloth.
sailcloth and the art, yes.
Okay, so if you want to use that product, which is a very good product, you only have certain products that are sold and recommended in the northeast. And they're the two products that are on there.
Huh?
I ignored the recommendation.
Oh,
It's on my house, I'm not gonna complain.
but you know what I'm saying, we're looking at it in a way of what the availability is and what we can get in massive quantities.
Yeah.
How much does it fade over time?
Does it?
I think that's the beauty of it. It's a more expensive.
Is it hard,
experience.
can you just ask for the next go around for, you know, you're gonna end up purchasing a lot of this stuff, saying, I'd like samples of all these right here. Or go.
Well, you're not gonna go to a dark color, because we already eliminated that color from the last scenario we went through. We were into gray families, and nobody said they
I
liked
think
it.
the light color, you have to think too, that you're gonna see this in the real life, a different shot or a different angle, so it does take a little, you won't see it.
And I'm also should be looking at it so close. looking at it from a little further away. You're doing it from this, I know you're doing the red one from here. Obviously blues and everything like that, and maybe gray, but maybe just a few, ask for a few more samples in this vein. Just see if you can get.
Are we saying that these, you don't want these colors?
I'm not saying I'm rejecting it, I'm seeing what looks very yellowish. And again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different opinions here. And I also want to maybe take these to the site and look at them next to the other properties nearby, next to the other properties.
Where you're gonna find the other properties are
Pretty much browns.
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 Are browns. They're
Yes.
a 40-year-old construction.
Right.
Are they falling apart?
No,
No, no, I'm
No.
kidding.
no,
I know the developer.
but it change, styles change and colors change.
We're always trying to find what they can, just like trying to, make the building appreciate a little bit. So it's not be one big square.
It's not bad.
There's one more.
It's a better,
Frankly, display.
somebody use this time to.
Okay with it.
I agree with you that color Xeroxes are not going to be perfect. So,
That's why I have
Yeah,
issues
so-
with colors
yes.
and presenting.
But now at least we understand, because we thought it was like two different schemes.
No, so what happens is they gave you this and then underneath.
Guys, did you mark a brick that you preferred on there?
Has an actual black and white.
Right.
It's really not bad when I looked through the different choices. There's another one that I would have figured, but
The one thing that they do with the sample, that was,
That's why I was-
because they don't show you the colors. Because it does,
Well, that's a similar color that's right here. You're seeing on something. If you don't, North State Road, he says it starts to look too on.
yeah.
That's why some of these grays.
yeah, I'm okay.
Okay.
If we're lucky, we're gonna go. The sample is a light color. You have a lot of the light color on this. That sample is very. You just look at something.
This elevation right here.
The
is
sailcloth,
always
the sailcloth here has no merit, no look, doesn't look like that. It's the sample, the actual sample.
Sample is.
The Arctic White is not a, wouldn't look
What
clean.
about the middle? Dark coding.
If you could just get us to the next go around, a few other sections. All we're just saying
Or do
is,
we want it in rendering again in another color? Or do you just want a sample?
just a sample, you don't have to be doing your colors on the land.
In the contrast, the scheme is not an issue.
I'll just give an example. If you look at this elevation here on drawing, building 2, right here, it has light, dark, brick. It has a nice even mix of 3 different colors. Looks much better on that one than it does here. Then you look at the bottom section, which is your section 2 of building 2 rear, and it almost looks like it's all yellow.
You know, when you present this as color, you're really at a point of disadvantage. So you know we're really where we're at, then we're not, don't present it in color and just give you the samples.
All we're saying here is maybe think about whether it's,
Right.
add some of the darker
We'll look
second
at
tone on this
Navajo
facade.
white seems to be a,
But that's
Yeah, but
a little
Navajo
bit
white
down the
is
road.
white.
Not white, it's
No,
the
no,
next column
right.
over. You
Yeah.
have a whole tan or gray, whatever it
Yeah.
is. Which really isn't that far off from this. See,
Yeah,
there
but
was,
it's nowhere near this.
no, it's a big difference.
That's it. So are we saying that
more like
the
these.
board wants Navajo white? Is that what
Not a
the
whole lot.
I think the board would like to see the actual samples. We're
Okay.
okay with the diagrams here, that you don't
Yeah,
have
the
to keep
diagrams.
printing them out.
Right.
This gives us the scheme, which is fine. But to actually look at the colors right now will depend on the actual samples.
So we don't want something more white, we want something toned
And
down.
also, we're also looking at the colors under fluorescent light. I'm not looking at them in the natural color of outdoors during the day, or whatever else. And I'm looking into something under cool white, which is probably, the foot candle level is not where we need to look at them, so that's why we're asking for a few more samples from those boards.
So what samples would you like?
As, try to get this whole triangle right over here. Excuse me, I'm just gonna go, try to go this way. Try to get those type samples.
You're not gonna get this over here. You didn't want that.
I didn't say
No, no,
these,
no.
these, try to get these colors. So this,
No, that's beige. Sorry.
some beige, some of the lighter.
So you want
grays.
every one of those colors.
Try to get
Next
that.
meeting.
And again, the meetings are at 7:30 at night. We're gonna need time to take those. We can approve a finish under fluorescent lights.
So how do we do that?
We have them in, we'll have them set up at your, at the site
Tony?
on a board.
This is a little weird. If you wanted to set it up on a piece of plywood at the site,
Exactly.
you just go there and look at it.
We need to know which ones you want to set up.
They want all of these.
No, no, no.
Yeah, but you can't set up the.
She said you wanted all of these.
This one's fine, there's no line boards.
The little samples, the manufacturers give them out for
Plywood
free.
and just put them down this.
The manufacturers give them out
You go
for
under the
free.
siding, and it's just, you know, be clean and look, like, see here, it just goes into itself.
We're getting too picked up on architectural review board. We can't review the samples at night, at 7:30 at night. We'll need them you can bring them to the meetings. We don't,
Yeah, and if you look
the
at
colors,
this one here, this is.
The color scheme is.
it's fine, we might ask you to take part of this and make part of it the darker color. Like where you have the red and the yellow, let's say for all intents and purposes.
So you really
take a
want to
s-
design the color scheme of these buildings?
We want to have we don't want a whole facade of 200 feet to be just one color. I'm seeing 200 feet of one color with a little accent of brick at the bottom. The brick is fine. This facade right here is great, that it has 1, 2, 3 materials.
Should keep in mind that those two facades that you see that don't have as much accent, those are the two looking into the driveway.
Right.
So we keep that to be a little more simple.
And again, try to get a few more, you'll bring them to the site, you can bring them to the next meetings, but we'll eventually want them brought to the site, and then 2 at a time, or whatever it is, we'll make appointments to go to the site to look, and then we'll end up voting on it at that point. Does that sound worth it?
Grab a sample and go outside in the sun.
Can we do this? We'll try to get the samples. We'll screw them on a piece of plywood. We'll set them up for as soon as possible at the site. We'll let everybody come to the site.
Or we can have them brought over here and.
While you're saying the light is not properly, you don't have to look at it.
That's the time that we can all see. At the site, we have to all go
Well,
2
you
at a
can,
time.
well, you can just go by yourself, you don't have
Yes.
to, you don't have that, if he's just gonna post it up, he doesn't even need to send somebody there, you just
Right.
walk by. and
There's a
look.
gate that is, it's.
Yeah, in other words, we could
Yes.
put it on the front porch.
Are there larger blocks?
There's an existing house.
Yeah.
It's an existing house, yes.
Yeah.
There's an
No, I
existing
don't-
house, but
they
there's
don't-
also
they
a
don't
gate
provide
by
that.
top.
That's the biggest sample, where was it?
Right, that's the sample that Hardy sends you when you request from them.
That's
that
fine,
small
that
sample.
size sample's fine.
Did I get the sample?
Work session on December 7th.
I'll order the other samples.
Five or six.
Oh, I see, so.
No, I think Greg has some questions, you maybe.
A couple small architectural things that, maybe how we can take a look at, Jordan.
Yep. Oh, I can show you.
Come up here. Look at the plans, and, you know, you've established throughout, pretty much the windows centered on themselves and everything else. This is kind of a strange condition. I looked at the plans, you had a little bit of a flat roof, which is waterproof and roof and everything.
Right.
Is there any way you could fool out those plans and get these to align? And you could also
Just
do it a little bit
eliminate
further?
that. I can look at the plan, yes, to
And
eliminate.
get them
this.
to line up, because you've done that everywhere, it's got to.
Yes.
So if you could take out that, and then the other thing is,
Let's go with one in the rear.
on the brick, and this goes for all of them, did you look at if the brick aligns with the windowsill?
We were trying
Because
to
they're all
break,
variations, some is a couple courses, some of them have.
yes, we were trying to keep them, but they needed to break, you know, to be higher than the sill. We can maintain it at the same level, it's just some of them become so large, unfortunately, because
And some can go down a little bit, like here, and go down like probably maybe 2 courses.
yeah. But that's definitely,
You know, typically if we do that now, there, like right here is a condition, there's a higher windowsill.
right.
So you either have to drop it right there to go over.
Mhm.
What else on the other ones?
You're doing this in an AutoCAD type program, which program are you using for this?
Yes, okay.
So is it possible to get it in a little bit 3D?
We don't have it in 3D, but we can,
Because,
this is a 2D.
I know it's 2D, yes, but
No, but we don't, I'm saying we don't have it set up to be a 3D building.
This one here, it's just these 2 windows.
Right.
You're only talking 1 course there. And it really doesn't affect, you know, you won't notice it, but it's a cleaner line.
Okay, no, I agree
Mostly.
with that.
So, this one is, there. Yours. And this one here, a question of how high you want, I guess, you know, what you have there looks good. So you got this condition there,
So we will establish if it is 6 inches, 8 inches, what,
if you can get them to a line,
yeah.
you know, with the sill like you here, there's the look right there, you're running underneath. Here's the other situation.
Oh, so you're saying, okay, Preston, you're saying eliminate the breaking of the.
Breaking the brick. Have the brick run
Oh,
right underneath the wood sill. That's it for that, was the one part that I had to do.
yeah,
I give all those.
I was thinking that we're saying by the garage, which is the same brackets that detail that they have on the rear elevation from the front out. Is that the rear?
The box section, I would like to see that. We suggested that change single family residence down Hawks Avenue.
So, you know, the pool is,
I agree.
the pool area is
I agree.
X number of square feet.
The fireplace, it makes it look richer, and the fire chimney, whether it's for wood or just ornamental, it just gives that richness.
I mean, put the-
Yes.
Yes.
Say,
I mean, it's veneer, it's not real justification.
No problem.
Good point.
Well, we still need to be considering the
Yes.
taking to these council will work with that.
Yep.
no, it's not.
we have something else. Yes, we have one other thing.
Yeah, the next board meeting that we normally have, we're only going to have 3 board members. So the likelihood is so we'll be moving all, most of these items over to
So when would they be voted on? We're missing a meeting.
Will be the second meeting on December. So the next work session is 4 weeks from tonight. 2 weeks after that is the public hearing. I mean,
He's talking about this window with all the breaks underneath this window.
Oh, no. Sure.
So how do we get
No, continue with the material, because, yeah, because people will go around and go review it. We just have to be aware.
This bird.
Rear building.
I was making.
No, that wasn't.
Well, I think so.
It's really cool. Oh, what's it called? This? Oh, okay. You guys know. Actually, I saw.
You know, I don't know how far. I have everything.
I mean, this is essentially kill.
You know, yeah, but any of the secondary.
Get a new road, so we'll just change the picture. Natural species that we might see.
We could have a little joke and make that a fight might. He'll face it. We were just talking.
And I might have gotten confused.
Yeah.
The shingle falls, so
I'm putting in
artists, yes. Right, they're very dark.
Do you want to show? Which is how the ones we selected are close to.
We'll do everything. I'll send you
Once we have, once we think we'll go. Now, it's hard to get 12 samples.
You want to look at any of these samples? While you look at the roof.
See, the nice thing is when you see the roof and you see some of the colors being picked up. I mean, when I see these two, yellow and there, and then I see
That,
something like the Harvest Gold, I see the colors
all
of
blended
this
together.
blending in. So that's why it'd be nice to have all the little sample, like yes, this, maybe the pavers that you're talking about, maybe all the other things. If you could get a few more of the samples, something like this is
The
fine.
paper, let me show you the paper. The paper is not is a major
It's
20 pounds. We have the paper.
Some of us are architects also, we, on a daily basis, we all call for materials and stuff like that, so.
These are permanent
Yes.
pavers. This was that fence. It's like beige fence. Real earthy
Even
color.
though earthy colors are great, something like that, yes. But you notice how this is a little bit beige, which is nice,
Well, that's why this is the,
yes.
this is the fencing.
And then some of the other colors that were on that thing had a few of the beige or grays or whatever else.
So this
And yes,
is,
most pavers are gonna be in, when you start getting the funky colors,
well, you don't
they're
want
gonna,
to get a light color
they're
anyway.
gonna fade and everything like that, yes.
You don't want to get a light color because
Right.
the skate marks in the
Right.
show.
It's just that light color, the honey is so light. It's a big expanse of it. And it's not.
And again, I'm looking at it a light,
Yeah.
I'm looking at fluorescent light that's not real, that's artificial, it's not in any way you can
Get
see
the
it.
other samples.
Yeah.
Yes. And then put them on the site.
Is there anything else we need, yeah, as long as they're on the site, then we can come by and just take a look at it, it's fine. Is there anything else we need to do, Gas?
I think they know what they need to do.
Yeah, we're going to try to see if we can get what the board wants in percentages. It may be a little difficult work on this and try to do the best we can, and then we'll spread the cost out. I think the hardest thing is going to be is the legal, because I think we're going into another area for these recreation fees.
Well, I have confidence in your able counsel.
Well, I appreciate that, and then again, as I explained to council, is I'll be much more likely to find things to show that you have discretion to take things into consideration. I don't know that we'll find something on point that says what is spent for recreation there is a deduction. I mean, that was an equitable argument in your overall discretion to abate recreation fees, but I'll do the best I can.
But doesn't the fee schedule say that if the planning board?
It does, that'll be something I'll include in there, and hopefully there'll be something similar in the town law.
If I could just mention a minor point, we had a discussion a minute ago with Steve about the icon on the note, the wetland notice, and the applicant has agreed to change the bird shown to, what was it, Steve?
It's a black brown night heron, is a common species in Austin.
It's,
What is that? That looks like some tropical bird, like a pelican or.
It was just a placeholder.
It's a hybrid.
Don't like Daffy Duck.
It was something I found on the free clip art. And that kind of gets to the point too about the updated plans you have. As soon as I got the resolution to look at, I noticed that there were a few items in there that said, this should be on the buffer plan, this should be on, so I put them on the buffer plan, and that's what you have now. So that's actually revised based on the draft resolution. You will, of course, be getting a full set of plans, full size, but that's why you have a plan that's a different date. We're trying to stay ahead of what needs to be done.
Anthony, to answer your question about the bond. Anthony?
Yes.
Typically, there's times where Steve could prepare an estimate, which is based on the cost of the plant material and labor to install, and then usually we add a 20% contingency on that, and then 25% bond is based on that estimate. But if you put together an estimate, send it to me, I'll review it just to make sure it complies with standards.
Okay.
And you should include anything that's part of the mitigation plan, like the trail, the
The
4-day,
4-day
everything.
Yep, no problem. So it's the actual cost plus 20% contingency, and 25% of that total number.
Correct. And that can usually be,
So we can get this is something that we could present to you at the next work session.
Next work session, yes.
Next work session, which is the 16th, right?
No.
So you don't want anything submitted on that day?
Public
It's
hearing
gonna
date.
go here.
what's that?
Can we submit this estimate?
You can submit some.
everything.
You can submit everything as it
Yeah.
comes in, so that the staff has, and consultants have
Yeah,
time to
Right.
review
Yeah,
it.
when
We
the
don't
brief
want-
is done, it could be submitted. You don't need a complete package before you submit it. You can submit, different discrete things
As they
come in, as you finish them.
Okay.
But the question, I think, is whether it will be discussed at the meeting on the 16th, or whether we wait till the December 7th meeting to have any discussion about it. Is that?
Yeah. Looks like all the same will be rated three of us members at the 16th.
So if we
So you're
treat it as a
suggesting,
work session, at least.
We get everything for the work session.
The board is suggesting that this be taken up at the work session and not at the next regular meeting.
So just to submit things between now and then.
So we have time to review them, and then we'll talk about them at the work session. Like we
In
did
December.
tonight. Like we did tonight.
But of course, the more time you give, the more time the board has, the staff has to be able to consider all the materials.
Yeah, if you can get the legal memo to me like 2 weeks prior to the next work session, then I can review it and get a memo to the board, so they'll be briefed on the issue before they come to the work session.
any further comments from the board at this time, or consultants?
I have one question. When is the public hearing in December? Again, it's 2 weeks after that, right? 21. And I guess the comments would be changed here, asking for,
I'm going to modify the resolutions for the work session. It'll be available, since we have so much time.
Yeah.
I'll try to finish about a week before the work session. If I can.
Any other matters?
thank you.
Thank
Can we get home for the night and?
Have a nice day, kid.
Yes, have a nice day.
Take care. These ours too? No, but we can.
You got my forms, Debbie? Something off, something on, so we're in drawings.
Good night. Somebody,
On your website, you know, we're adjourning the public hearing. Right, okay. Yeah.
You just
the
make that-
applicant asked for
And
adjournment.
then at the meeting, we should adjourn to again certain. Right? Yeah, otherwise we have to renotice.
So I guess we're gonna be adjourning to the 21st, the public hearing, the public meeting. And, yeah.
We're just saying,
We're just
we're
gonna-
saying we're granting the applicant's request for adjournment to the
Yes.
21st.
Okay.
But you're right, it really would be good to get the word out that it's not going to be heard on the 16th, so everyone doesn't show up.
Right.
Do we have to mention that they will be discussed at the work session on the 7th?
Yes, I think we should.
Sure.
People have an opportunity to get
Yep.
their comments.
Yes.
Well, we may want to send out that reminder like a week before. I could send it earlier.
Just whatever legally is required, because a few people said they didn't know that the last meeting.
For confidential issues,
Right.
like consulting with legal counsel, you know.
The question you're asking is if there's a big room of people and you want to go into executive session. And generally we try to have an executive session at the end of the meeting. Sometimes I've seen the board itself will even go into a different room. The public stays where it is.
Well, we wouldn't be having it here again, would we? If we're expecting 100 people to show up.
November 16th is at the community center again.
What else we have on the agenda on the 16th?
We,
Maybe Bethany.
Bethany and maybe artists.
December,
Yeah,
the work
okay.
session.
Oh, okay.
I really think that
Did you make
instead of
this
adjourning
same?
artists to a public hearing, you know, because they couldn't say yes not to be on, they weren't ready for this work session. I think we need a work session with artists.
So on the
Okay.
7th, maybe, as well.
Right.
I saw
Yes.
that they submitted a bunch of stuff today or yesterday,
Right.
yes.
Right, there was no objections to having them adjourn until our next work session. So
Right.
let's do that as well.
So do you have anything else?
So it'll be Bethany on the 16th,
Bethany.
if they get their special permit on Monday.
And if they don't, they still might want to try to make some progress. I don't mean if they don't, I mean if, not if they get a denial, but if they haven't yet gotten their special permit.
Is Bethany doing finishes like everybody else? Or
They're not really changing.
They're just doing
They're not-
interior,
they're-
so.
Yeah. Well,
They're
on the
just,
building, it's just interior.
just changing the function of the inside of the space.
And
It's not the
changing,
same.
changing the grounds, some.
So there's no samples that the board needs to see, lighting fixture.
They showed a light
They showed
fixture,
light.
they did yesterday or today, whatever Sandy sent. And that was just some outdoor low lighting, I think, or I couldn't tell what it was. I think I actually brought it with. I printed out if it was a cone. So they showed this light fixture, but I didn't know what, I couldn't tell after the 3 minutes I looked at, when I printed out, I couldn't tell what it was. It was a light that was 10 feet up, 15 feet, or just some type of LED light. I didn't look at the stand.
Yeah.
And then the foot candle levels on the ground around the property, so, I mean, they're gonna present this, that's what they sent, today or yesterday, which was, what Sandy sent us in the email.
Will there be any activity, you think, on that Snyder?
She mentioned that, she,
They'll put something in writing, ask the board for.
for an extension. Yeah, they're gonna seek an extension of the site plan approval. I don't know what other requests they're gonna make.
So we don't know if they're gonna have that
Subdivision, sorry.
for the 16th or not.
I don't, yeah, I'm not sure. They said they would put something in writing, so if they submit it by the submission date,
Right.
they
Okay.
can be on the agenda.
So that might be, might not.
Okay. Any motion to adjourn?
Make a motion?
Second.
Great. Thanks, folks. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Well, actually, we'll probably see you guys around anyway.